Karine, before the election, the Senate passed a bill that would have added an additional 60 judges to the judiciary. That bill is now going to the House, and there are some Democrats who are now not supportive of that bill because it would mean President-elect Trump would have an additional 60 judges to fill. Or judge spaces to fill. What's the administration's view on that bill? Would the president sign or veto it?
And so I need to talk to the president and Office of Legislative Affairs about this. I have not had that discussion about this particular bill. As you know, we have been pretty aggressive and steadfast in getting our nominated judges, qualified judges, through in the Senate process. And so we have been able to steadily do that over the past couple of weeks on this particular legislation. I just need to talk to the team. I don't want to get ahead of them.
Right. And one more on pardons.
Sure.
With having pardoned his son, some of the criticism that came from the left, including, I believe, Black Lives Matter, was that black men have been unfairly charged and imprisoned and don't have fathers who have the ability to pardon them. Does the fact that the president has pardoned his son, who was convicted by a jury and did plead guilty on the tax charges, put pressure on the president, or does he feel pressure to do an even greater number of pardons this time around for people who don't have that privilege?
So there's a process. The president's going to go through it. I'm not going to get ahead of him. But again, I do want to, I hope folks don't forget what the president has been able to do, the actions that he's been able to take over the last 4 years. I went through them just to touch on them a little bit. He's issued 20 individual pardons, 122 commutations. He's issued more sentence commutation at this point in his presidency than any of his recent predecessors at the same point in the first term. This is in addition to the groundbreaking categorical pardons that the president issued to address marijuana possession convictions and military convictions in the LGBT plus community. And let's not forget what he was able to do in April: 11 pardons, 5 commutations for individuals convicted of nonviolent drug offenses who demonstrated a commitment to rehab. And so there's going to be more to come. But what the president has done, you've shown his commitment to making sure that he takes these pardons as he has over the last 4 years in a way that is important for communities that you just spoke to. And he's talked about the criminal justice system. He's talked about he's taken actions in a way that we can address with the inequalities of the criminal justice system. And I would say that this president's commitment has been very clear on this, and has been very, has been very steadfast and has made a difference. There's going to be more to speak to in the upcoming weeks, and so certainly the president will address it.
Does he have a response to that kind of criticism?
Look, again, I just laid out what the actions. I don't.
Does he get that some people feel that their sons and daughters deserve the same?
And so I will say, and I keep going back to his comprehensive written statement because he speaks to his thought process. Obviously, I've said this many times. He speaks to wrestling with this. He speaks to the underlying factors, as I've mentioned many times from here, and he speaks to how Republicans have politically gone after his son over and over again and continue to say they're not going to stop. And you've heard from legal experts who have said that if his name was Joe Smith.
I'm asking about these other people who are also in jail and were also convicted.
Right, and I've answered that by talking about the actions that the president has taken. I've answered that by pointing to the president's statements, him wrestling with this and laying out his thought process. It was in his own words. And you also asked me if there are going to be additional pardons. There will be. We're reviewing it. We're trying to figure out the next steps in this, and you'll hear from the president on this in the next couple of weeks. But we can't put aside the important notes that I made about the actions that the president has taken on issues that matter to the community. And again, I said he's issued more sentence commutation at this point in his presidency than any of his recent predecessors at this same point in their first terms. That matters. He's taken this very seriously, and so, that's what I hope folks would take from that. A president that's been very serious, that's taken actions, and that's how I'm going to answer that question. Go ahead.
Thanks.